When we talk about tank warfare in World War II and German Panzer Aces, it's no wonder that the accomplishments of commanders of the famed Tiger or Panther tanks get a lot of attention. Regardless of such soldiers' achievements, they inadvertently contribute to conceal the fact that the German army had a huge number of other tankers who used considerably more modest vehicles and also scored key combat victories. The Sturmgeschütz, often abbreviated as StuG, series of AFVs was one of these. Technically, the StuGs were not tanks, but rather assault guns, specialized armored fighting vehicles on a tank chassis with a fixed forward-facing cannon. They were originally designed as mobile assault guns for infantry direct fire support, but were eventually modified and used as tank destroyers. The StuG was progressively developed throughout the war, with variants A through E, and then given a longer, more powerful gun with the Auswaffe. The 75mm StuG 40L48 gun, fitted to later F and G models, could still overcome the frontal armor of most Allied tanks, making it more than enough for the tank destroyer role. The StuG provided good protection where it was most needed, across the frontal arc, despite its total armor protection being lower to comparable tanks. The StuG weighed less and was more agile on and off the road because it didn't have a turret or the same overall thickness of armor as other tanks. Because of its lighter weight, it put less strain on its drivetrain, resulting in fewer breakdowns than other German tanks. It had the highest availability of any tracked German combat vehicle. With the low silhouette and strongly armored hull, the StuG proved to be one of the more significant weapons of the German forces of World War II. Hugo Primozic was one of Germany's StuG aces during World War II and was noted for his quick reactions, clever tactical use of ground, and the icy nerve, which in tense situations, enabled him to hold his fire until his opponent had closed to point-blank range. Hugo Primozic was born in 1914 in the German state of Württemberg to a German mother and a Slovenian father. In May 1934, he joined in the German army and was assigned to the artillery. During the Polish campaign, he served with the 152nd Artillery Regiment of the 52nd Infantry Division. He moved through many reserve and replacement roles after service in the French campaign, including a stint at the artillery school in Jüterbog. He was sent to the 667th Sturmgeschütz Battalion after graduation. He was given command of a platoon of StuG assault guns in the 2nd Battery of the 667th. After intense battle in August and September, the 667th repulsed numerous powerful Soviet attacks near Rzhev, but was later withdrawn due to high casualties. The Soviets then launched another massive attack on September 15th. Primozic had only his platoon of 3 StuGs at his disposal, which he quickly deployed to meet the assault. Primozic halted his unit and dismounted as they approached undercover to assess the scenario confronting his tiny group. After that, he maneuvered his StuGs behind cover on the flank of the approaching Soviet tanks. As Primozic's platoon advanced into firing positions, one of the Soviet T-34s noticed him and immediately swung its turret around and fired. Despite the shot's short range, the round bounced off by chance. The StuG fired a moment later, destroying the T-34. Primozic's platoon started firing at the Soviet tank sides and rear. As the Soviets began to return fire, Primozic ordered his StuGs to withdraw from their previously concealed positions and relocate to new firing positions to the left of their current location. Despite enemy fire, this maneuver was made possible by the StuG's low profile, speed, and concealed positions. While Primozic was moving, the Soviet tank advanced towards his platoon, closing the range to the point where the nearest T-34s were barely 275 meters away, well within ideal shooting range for a T-34. His unit also observed KV-1 heavy tanks approaching the halted T-34s. His StuG was hit by a KV-1 round that did no damage, but Primozic's gunner also had his shot bounced off the KV-1. It was now purely a reload race, with the first to reload and fire accurately destroying the other. The StuG's 75mm roared, and the KV-1 shuddered to a halt, gushing smoke. The fighting lasted until the Soviets began to retire, with the seriously outnumbered platoon inflicting damage on the T-34s and KV-1 heavy tanks. The unit flanked the Soviet advance and took full use of the covered, rolling terrain to halt the offensive and destroy nearly 24 Soviet tanks. Primozic was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross on September 19, 1942, and promoted to Staff Sergeant. He and his platoon continued to battle with their battalion, in repelling successive Soviet attacks in the Reserve region from the 15th to the 28th. Primozic's platoon was tasked to guard the division's extreme flank on September 28, and they proceeded to hold their position against numerous attacks by Soviet tanks with infantry support. Primozic's StuGs held their ground until they had used up all of their ammunition, at which point they sought to flee to escape being surrounded. Primozic left his vehicle under fire with a steel tow line and hooked it to an immobilized StuG in his platoon, to tow it off the battlefield using his own vehicle, before his platoon could disengage. When he returned to his StuG, he personally covered the successful evacuation of both vehicles with a machine gun against infantry attack. Hugo Primozic was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross and the Oak Leaves for destroying 60 enemy tanks in the 5 months from September 1942 to January 1943. Primozic was the first non-commissioned officer in the Wehrmacht to get the Oak Leaves to the Knight's Cross, and he was one of just 7 non-commissioned officers to receive the Oak Leaves in total. In February 1943, he received his officer's commission and worked as an instructor until 1945, when his training unit was sent to the Western Front to combat the oncoming Americans. On May 8, 1945, American forces captured Primozic and he survived the war. He died on March 18, 1996, in Fulda, Germany. If you have enjoyed the story of this StuG ace, please subscribe and support the channel for more. Many thanks for watching.